Joe Robine of COBRA Defense Miami, Saturday, March 3rd, we are offering our COBRA active shooter response training. That's followed by Teen Safe self-defense and preparedness training. And I'd like to elaborate here on the active shooter training because we're getting so many questions, so much commentary, and there's a lot of opinions going on in the media and in the news, and rightfully so. We have a problem. How are we going to address this? What is the best approach? I'd like to point out that COBRA has been training individuals, families, corporations for over a decade now before, unfortunately, the term active shooter became a household name. And one of the things that we know for sure is that, unfortunately, this is an event that cannot be prevented. You are initially forced to respond to it. So it doesn't matter how many laws you put in place. Laws are created for law-abiding citizens like you and I. The criminal, if you remove a particular firearm, will use another firearm, or will make one himself, or he will move over to an edge weapon. And if you're sitting there going, well, I rather that than him using any particular type of firearm, then I respectfully will point out that you don't understand the tactical reality of it. An edge weapon and any weapon in the hands of an individual intent on doing harm is a complete disaster. So is putting trained personnel, security, law enforcement, strategically placed outside buildings, is that going to be the solution? As an active shooter, I'd take a look at that. I see a bullseye on your chest. You're the first guy I'm going to take out so that I can get to do the damage that I'm intent on doing. And now you're hearing of the idea of having school teachers carrying firearms and have them be that first line of defense. And so now, if you survey this group, they'll often express that they feel that they are overworked and underpaid, and now on top of that, we're going to have to offer them a level of training that requires funds and time, because you have to get them up to the level of law enforcement. And I want to be clear on that. We're not talking about having a concealed weapons permit that you acquired by going out into the range and shooting at a stationary target. We're asking these teachers now to take down an individual who is having incoming fire, and now you're under the duress of that situation and all the implications that goes along with that. And now you start losing as a teacher. You lose custody, care, and control, because you have to look out for these students, but you're also expected to take down a gunman. So not only that, but now you've just introduced a weapon, a firearm in the classroom, so that if you have students that feel on any particular day that it's a good idea to overpower that teacher, then you know what, they're going to have an opportunity to do it, because that teacher, keep in mind, is not going to be hanging around with their firearm drawn. There are going to be procedures for that. It just it changes the complete landscape. And so what are you left with? What is the best plan? And it's going to be very difficult to compete with having your family trained, having the training imparted in the nerve system as to exactly what to do from the time that you hear guns firing and acting as your own first responder, because you can talk to law enforcement. Law enforcement is never going to get there on time to go ahead and prevent a situation, or get there on time before disaster strikes most of the time. So there is no substitute for having individuals trained and families trained. And so when you look at the what's available out there, you hear things like the run, hide, fight, government issued protocol, and we got to get very specific. When you say run, where exactly and how exactly are you going to run? Is it better to zigzag, or is everybody just going to crouch and run for the exits at the same time? Hiding, is that what you want your loved one to do? You say, hey, hide behind that desk, and hopefully the gunman will just pass by and miss you? Or do you want them to go ahead and be proactive and follow the plan that's going to give them the 90% probability of surviving? And by the way, how exactly is it that you're going to fight an armed gunman? You have to be very specific, and that's where the COBRA active shooter response plan comes in. It's a complete 15-step protocol that by the end of the training, not only will you be able to recite this plan, but you'll be able to carry it out under the stress, a simulated reality-based scenario of the event. Trying to learn this from reading a book or a DVD, which we offer to reinforce the training, that's not enough. That's like trying to learn how to swim from watching a video or reading a book. You actually have to get in the water, and that's what we do with this plan. COBRA is very good at tricking the brain into thinking that you're in an actual scenario. training you to make the right decisions, what to look for, what not to do, and then having you do it under those circumstances, and you're in a safe environment. So that's what we have going on March 3rd. The second half of that is Teen Safe. I'll address that in a separate video. The cost of it, it's not going to break the bank. It's $89. By the way, it's free of charge. This one is free of charge to school teachers. We're doing that as COBRA Defense Miami's part of the community service, so please get it out to your teachers. There's a lot of schools out there that still don't have a plan in place for this, believe it or not. And so the teachers come in, they act as the leaders. They are the mom and dads in those types of situations, so we want them trained. So go out and tell your loved ones, share it with others. Teachers do have to register even though they're comped, because we need to know how many people in here and when it is that we cut off, so that we can still train in a comfortable environment in here, okay? Guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, you can register by calling 800-289-8188 or just hit the online link. And we're here to serve, so we're here to answer any questions. Thanks for watching and stay safe.